So welcome back, everyone. We just heard Ken's ad just a second ago.
Mhm.
He was just said, and you know, we have our lines open here for everyone to call in to be able to get his academy for free. Take your business to the next level. Maybe it's you or someone that you know you're going to love it that you did. Just start off with getting of the book in itself. It's the 6 Silver Bullets to Grow Any Business Fast. It takes 23 minutes to read that. You're going to get his emails that he gives out to everybody, the newsletters that he gives out to everyone, the calculator that's so awesome that he has for everyone as well. You're getting all of these things for free, and when you go up onto the website and you're going to see that the academy costs money, don't pay for it. You don't have to. You just call me, Carol, at 602-277-5369, and you're going to get it for free by calling me. And we're going to leave the lines open for all of the show for people to do that. You know, we've been talking, we always talk a little bit at the breaks, and I want to talk about how people think that they can do these things on their own.
Sure.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so for 20 years I was in financial services, and from working individually with clients all the way up to corporate executive and all the roles that are in between that. There was always the prospective client who says, well, why should I pay you if I can do this myself? And my question is always the same, and still today when business owners say, well, why should I hire a coach when I've done this by myself, or I could do this by myself? My question is, well, why haven't you?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're talking because something kind of resonated with you in the material, and the answer becomes, you could, but what's keeping you from doing that?
Well, I'm going to ask another question. What's keeping you from doing it better?
Right. Yeah.
Not just doing it, because you might just be doing it now.
Sure, and look, if it's that same element of, if you want to be sort of the median, that's okay. If you're looking to reach a new level, you're going to need more and better information, and a good component of that, if you want to, I hate to use a buzzword, but it works, scale your business so that you're not the hub for all questions, all decisions, and so on. If we're really going to move you out of the hub so that your team can act with confidence according to your core values and your principles and your business ideas, then we need to map that out for them. You've got to get out of your brain and onto paper usually.
And with all of this that you're hearing, it's all about finding out if Ken is the right coach for you. That's really what this is all about now.
If coaching is, the whole reason that I give you all the material that I give you is to provoke thought. It's for you to have a conversation with yourself in the privacy of your quiet time so that you can get real with yourself. And real meaning, do you have an issue? I don't know, but there are plenty of calculators to help you establish where you are. There's a list of very common mistakes we make as business owners and leaders that'll help you see where you are in terms of your leadership. So it's about leadership and processes that are aligned with your goals and your business.
There's another thing that happens when you use all of the resources that he offers too. You might find out you're better in an area than you even thought.
You for sure will be better at one thing that is unique to you. You're also going to discover that you will, when we profile you, you'll find out what your native genius, your natural genius is, and there are going to be others that you want around you that have complement geniuses to help you execute your business. A lot of the owners that I work with are just like you, Carol. They're what we call a star. They're very good at promotion and painting a vision of the future that doesn't exist yet. That's why they're in entrepreneurship. That's not everyone. It's just a big chunk of those I work with. However, what they're not natural at is execution of the thing, right? That's my theory of the case is that's why most small businesses fail. The idea is fantastic. The execution, bringing the products or services to market on time, under budget, and creating a profit, that's where sometimes we go awry, and that's why you need some other talent around you to help you be successful.
Now, we've got our lines open here for everyone to get the Academy for free. Go up onto the website, which is makingthecut.biz. You'll see everything there that you're gonna get for free. You can play around with everything. When you see the Academy, you're gonna see that there is a cost to it, but if you call me, you're gonna get it for free. And our number here is 602-277-5369. And take your business to the next level. You owe it to yourself to do that. I'm not sure if I want to talk about time first or about people getting, what do you want to talk about?
Two ways of the same, you're just saying the same thing twice.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, people get in their own way because they pretend they don't have time. So one of the fitness coaches that I follow, he talks about time related to creating space to be healthy. It's the same thing if you want a healthy business. I agree. His name's Ryan Fish, to give credit where credit is due. But he did this great post about how we use our 168 hours a week. And you've heard me use the frame, which is why my eyes tuned into this post, because I've used something similar. Ryan just does a nicer job of it. But his point is this, just by an example of, if you have 168 hours a week, let's say you're a typical business owner sleeper, and you get 6 hours per night sleep. That's 42 hours. Let's say you're putting 60 a week into your high stress work. Let's say you're spending 20 hours on screen time. You know you do. You know you scroll. Let's say you're spending 10 hours with errands. You still have 36 hours to work with. And that's the point is, where are you working on your personal health? How are you working on your business health and planning your future? Because the way people get in their own way is they're on autopilot, right? They defend with, this is how I've always done it, and I've been successful. You have been successful, but what got you here won't get you there. You're successful to this point because you have one hell of a work ethic, and you have shown up and you have an awesome idea, and now you're at a point where we need everyone around you to understand that idea and the process for getting there. So that's what coaching is about, is helping you make the most of your 168 hours a week.
When you're working with people, do you find that people come up with a lot of really good excuses?
I wouldn't call them good.
Well,
yeah, they're pretty
I'm sorry.
creative with what they tell me.
Well, they don't know who they're dealing with.
Yeah, what they tell me what I don't understand. I don't understand that they have a spouse or kids or, but sure.
Right.
And my challenge for myself, I live this too. My challenge to myself is, can I find one example of somebody else who has a business like mine, a personal life like mine, a commitment, whatever activities, and are they still getting more done with their hours? And the answer is almost always yes. I say almost because I want people to find one example, but I can always find an example of somebody that has a much tougher job that just seems to get a lot more done.
My mother used to say, give the busy person something to do and it gets done.
Absolutely, yeah, that is true. When I was in corporate, I was usually the busy person. And they said, why do you get projects done? Because I don't have time to dink around. I have to be organized, and so everything I do comes with full focus. So I get in, I focus, I get it done, I move out. And that is true. Busy people get more done because we have to. So there's probably another side to that too, but there are things, and we talked about this, how do people get their own way? Part of it is time, but the other element, and I can tell we're going to roll into the next segment on this one, but the other element is, what are we holding on our plate that is better suited for somebody else?
Yes,
So-
because, but didn't I just say that myself at the break?
At the break.
Yeah, because I did say that a lot of times you have to be able to delegate, right? With
Yeah.
things that you need to, like, let go of.
Sure.
The,
We get obsessed with how something is getting done instead of what's getting done.
mhm.
So, there's also a great book by Dan Sullivan called Who Not How, where he focuses on, don't be obsessed with how something gets done. Find the right who, and it will get done. And we can really dig into tying that to the evolution and growth of your business. I'll give you a couple of very large corporate examples where a founder was able to perpetuate his vision into a very large scale business. And then of course, when the founder goes, sometimes that's the hardest part of perpetuating that, but there are plenty who have done what you're hoping to do.
Well, again, this is the website. It's makingthecut.biz. He gives so much away to all of you to take your baby steps at your pace and to get yourself to the point where you're gonna see what it is that he's all about, but then please take that next step and make that phone call so that he can have that consultation with you. There's no obligation to it. It's all about finding out if we're right for one another, right?
Yes.
That's the main thing
Yeah.
about this whole conversation that we're having here. Don't feel like you're not stuck into doing something.
No.
You can get up onto the website and you can make it, your time with him, it's all there on the website. We'll talk about that when we get back. Again, we've got our lines open here for you to call me to be able to get the academy for free, because when you go up onto the website, you're gonna see that there is a cost to it, but not if you call me. And our number here is 602-277-5369. The website is makingthecut.biz. Hang tight, we'll be back in just a minute. So, what do you wanna finish up with?
What we just said.
Okay, oh, which is the one where we're not letting go and okay, so, not delegating,
Yeah.
okay. Okay. And do you think that will be enough, or do you wanna do one more?
Well, I don't know.
I don't know yet either. I'm just gonna pull one into my lap just so I have it.
I mean, you can come from delegation, great, what's the coaching framework for delegating?
Okay, okay,
Because there's a framework for, delegating isn't throwing the things, okay, you do that.
okay,
And then
okay.
they come back and like, well, you didn't do that the way I wanted. Okay, and then we use that as an excuse
That-
of, see, I can't delegate because every time I hand something off, it doesn't get done right.
Right.
It's,
And I'm not sure if that is because of the way that we're telling them that it comes out, because everybody sees like I might see something the way I perceive it to be, they might see it differently than me.
mhm,
Do you know what I mean?
yes, yeah,
Okay.
that's my whole business.
Okay.
Yeah, Carol's a
Okay.
micromanager. Like, well,
Yeah,
what, I'm supposed to let crap work come by? No. And do they know what success looks like? How did you tell them you wanted it done?
right, and I think that's that's why everything goes wrong, haywire,
Right.
is my opinion.
Because they don't know why,
Mm-hmm.
they have no context, and it's not clear. So if you start with why, give them the context for what's going on, how does it tie into the whole rest of the thing, like what's the contribution here?
Mm-hmm.
Because not everybody, especially with founder, you know how things fit into the big business. Your team doesn't necessarily. And then it's just not clear, right? The
What-
reason they're not delivering on time or we're at each milestone is that we don't tell them that. And then we're very frustrated at our complete lack of communication. Or we tell them once, nobody hears it once.
No, but I do find that one time, what I did was find out that when I let go of it, and I gave him the job to do, or what have you, it was still done wrong. Not because, like, maybe they just didn't know how to, let's say, alphabetize, something as silly as that. But you go back and you're looking for something, and you're looking, and now it wasn't me that did that, right? But I put somebody in charge that wasn't qualified. But how did I know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Till it's too late.
We have run into that, yeah. But there's also a sense of ownership of, I would say, if that's your fault, either you hired incorrectly,
That's right.
or you trained incorrectly.
So, at the break here, we're sitting here talking, and I love it when I start talking with Ken, and, the last thing he says is, "That's your fault." And
There's
you know what, then,
context to that.
but yeah, there is a lot. But I wanna say that when he says that, you're like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, if you own it, it's yours.
Yeah,
If I
and-
just,
and I
own my
love
business,
that.
yeah, I own mine, it's my fault.
we're gonna go into talking a little bit about what we were talking about before we went to a break, which was, you know, letting go and delegating a little bit, and why people don't, right? And
Sure.
why it's so important, and then, you know, we're gonna talk about how the coaching works with that to frame that around that. Now, again, I wanna tell everybody, we do have our lines open here for everyone. He can give so much away. If you own a business, if you're, in a leadership, sort of a position, even in a business, we're looking for people who want to grow that business and help them, and maybe you know somebody who does. Please tell them about this, because Ken is phenomenal about how he works and how he works with people. You're going to love that. You're going to get so much from him, and find out whether he's the right coach for you. By calling me here, you're gonna get that academy for free, and our number here is 602-277-5369. Go ahead.
So,
Delegating.
man, he came to me quick that time. I was waiting for a bigger warm-up from Carol. So, look, here's what delegating is about. So the story you might tell yourself, business owner, because I've done this too, right? So when I say you, I mean us, is I hold on to something, right? It's my excuse pattern of I'm way too busy because I have all this stuff to do. Okay, well, what can we get off your plate? Well, I can't get that off my plate because it's just too important. I don't want it done a certain way. So you want it or you need it, right? Delegating is again, that's how you reach scale, if you will. That's how you become a bigger business that perpetuates your dream. Is you are the structure, you are the vision, but you don't have to do all the stuff. So the first couple of times you get into your delegating sequence, it is a little bit, delegating is so tied to communication, they're indistinguishable, right? So I literally just had this during a session last week, a strat session last week, where the senior leader said, well, at what point do we step in when somebody's clearly off track? And it's like, well, go upstream. Why are they off track? Do they know what on track looks like? Well, they should. Never want to should on your employees.
Well, the first thing you said, number one, was if you just told them once, that's not enough.
Yeah, that's what we're getting there too. But when you delegate, it's this is what I'd like you to be responsible for. This is why. This is its context. This is where it fits in the overall contribution. This is why doing this task or what have you is so important. This is how it feeds the greater good of the company. And this is how success is measured. And then there are milestones. As we delegate, I'd like to meet with you for 15 minutes once a week so you can show me where you're at, and we'll talk about being on track according to how we measure success. The key is you don't need to care how they do things. As long as they're operating in core values, how doesn't matter. How is you micromanaging? Doesn't matter how they do it. It matters that they do it. And that they do it according to what you told them. Did you make it SMART? It's an acronym. Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. Specific, measurable, attainable, not pie in the sky, relevant, it should fit the whole business, and time bound, which means there is a specific day by which things should be done. Nothing will frustrate your employee. Nowhere in being smart is how to do it right. Sort of like, the silly analogy I use is when
Well, you think they're smart enough to do it right.
Yeah. So the analogy I use is when an employee shows up, you have a dress code of some sort for whatever you do. Right? It runs the gamut from a business suit or that sort of thing all the way to clean mechanics coveralls, right? But there's the dress code. When they get there, you don't ask them whether they put their left shoe on first or their right shoe. You don't care. You care that they have steel-toed shoes to be in the shop so they don't hurt themselves. That's all you care about. Delegating is the same way. Don't be worried too much about whether they put the left shoe on or the right, just that they have the right shoes on. So think of it that way, and it's a communication game, right? It's always helping them, checking in. Do they have what they need?
And making sure that you are communicating with them on a level that they can understand. I think that's the main thing.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
Yeah, and this is probably what comes into styles, right? Geniuses. The way you and I, Carol, are right next to each other on the talent dynamics So we tend to be headline thinkers. Even when we think we're giving detailed information for somebody that is a complement to us, our opposite is very focused on detailed information. They're very good at consuming large amounts of information, not something that interests either of us. We don't read footnotes unless we're forced to do it, just to give you an example. So you and I, for example, would need to, if we were delegating, we would just want to make sure we leave some space for questions. So I say that to people like you and I all the time of, hey, don't do a drive-by. We say, hey, we're doing this thing. All right, I'll see you. We're doing this thing. This is what I'm thinking. This is what I expect. What questions do you have for me? And then just answer their questions.
We're almost finished with this segment today, but I wanted to talk about when you have a coach, when you're looking at them and you're talking to them, do you help them come up with those ideas and what to say to the people? Because I wouldn't know the first thing.
Oh yeah, that we work together in that way. Of some of my clients, they usually want to hear what I think first, but I'm on to them. So usually I just want to hear what you think or what you might say, and then we're going to explore that. So this is part of understanding, of being self-reflective and self-aware, is then also, well, how might your team member feel when they hear you say it that way? And it's an exploration for your awareness, because that's my job, is to evoke awareness. When you are in awareness, you are in choice.
I really like that you do that, because a lot of times I might say something that if I said it to myself, it wouldn't hurt.
Right.
But when you say it to somebody else, like you said, how would someone, your teammate or whatever, would take that? And I don't think a lot of us think about that. I think we speak first.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, we think first we speak first and think later. And that's the context of when I said that's your fault, is when I had a great disagreement with a fellow coach over this, of when your employees leave, that is your fault. Either you hired poorly, you didn't get a chance to really figure out core values, were they a match, right? They had a skill but not core values. They had core values but not the skill, thought you could teach the skill, turns out you couldn't. Still your fault, it's your choice, it's an ownership thing. And if you business owners will take accountability for it's always my fault, you'll start to see that the rest of your team will understand, they will own up to that too. So if I come into something with, hey, I own this, the point is not a blame game, it's if I own it, I can choose differently and get a different result. It's an empowerment phrase, not a blame phrase.
I love that he is there for you to let you see where you might be doing something that's your fault,
Sure.
and that there is another way, and that's what's wonderful about having a coach.
Yeah.
Real quickly, do you want to tell them some of the businesses that you work with and things like that?
Oh, like categories of business. So a main niche that I work with, which developed 100% organically, is dental practices. It just so happened that I think she was my second client. My second client is a dental practice owner that I met at CrossFit, and it was organic. When I started my business, I thought I'd get a lot more out of financial services because that was who knew me, but it turns out all my fellow CrossFitters also know me, so a lot of those. So I have a niche of dental practices. I do have quite a few in healthcare in general. Yes, to financial services, my old life, manufacturing, gyms. If I've left restaurateurs, I've run the whole gamut of products and services.
And again, I'm going to say it again. It doesn't matter what size that your business, even if you were a solopreneur.
Sure.
We've talked about this many, many, many times. He gives so much away, and he wants you to take those baby steps and do things on your own pace to find out whether or not you are a good fit. When you go up onto his website, which is makingthecut.biz, you're going to see all that you get there for free. You're going to see the academy. The academy does cost money, but not if you call me. So call the Carol Show and just call in here, and you're going to get that academy for free. You're going to love it that you did it. Our number here, the number to call is 602-277-5369, and toll free it's 1-866-536-1100. The website is makingthecut.biz. .biz. Take your business to the next level.